We're looking in this section at actuarial notation, and actuarial notation can be divided into two different types: assurances and annuities. Assurances are labelled with a capital A, and they are benefits which are payable on some event, usually death. It's a single payment which happens at that event. Annuities are labelled with a small a, and they are benefits which are payable regularly until a particular event, so usually death. We have various different variations of these different contracts. For example, if we look at the assurances first, we have a whole life assurance to somebody aged X, and we label that by putting a subscript X against the A. That's a benefit which is payable to somebody who's currently aged X when that person dies at some point in the future, and the benefit is payable at the end of the year of death. We also have a whole life assurance to that person aged X, which is payable immediately on death, and we label that by putting a bar above the A. Variations of this are term assurances. These are labelled again with the age of the person aged X, but with a small n there to show that the benefit is not payable if the person is still alive at the end of that term of n years. And we label this with a 1 above the X, because what we require is that the person dies before that term in order for there to be any benefit payable. Again, we have a similar contract where the benefit is payable immediately on death, but obviously only if the death happens within that term. We also have endowment products. An endowment product is a benefit which is payable, a lump sum benefit, if the person survives to a particular time. So we write this down. Again, we have the person currently aged X, we have the term, and this time we have the 1 above the n, because what we require this time for any benefit to be payable is that the person is still alive at the end of that term. Again, we have the continuous version of this, but because the benefit is payable at the end of that term, the two would be equal in this case. If we look at annuities, we have similar sets of contracts. So first of all, we have a normal annuity payable to somebody aged X, payable at the end of each year until that person dies, and that's just written with a small a and a subscript X. And this is an annuity in arrears. We also have an annuity payable in advance, and in that case what we do is we put 2 dots above the A, and that just shows us that the payments are happening at the start of each time period, so at the start of each year rather than at the end of each year. We have the term annuity versions as we did with the assurances, and these are written in the same way with a subscript n. And what we're saying here is that the benefit is payable every year until death, but if the person's still alive at the end of that term of n years, then there's no more benefit to be paid after that time. So it's a sort of truncated annuity. If we look at the question that we've been given here, what we've been asked to calculate is an A25 double dot. Okay, and what we can see here is the double dots tell us that this payment is in advance. The 25, well, in this case the 25 has a bar around it, and that's showing us that it's an annuity certain. So unlike the AX, which is payable until the death of a life, this is an annuity which is definitely payable for 25 years. To calculate this then, if we look at our tables, we will see that this is calculated as 1 minus our discount factor to the power 25 divided by our discount rate, and we've been given that our interest is 5.6%, so in this case 1 minus 1.056 to the minus 25 divided by d, and d is 1 minus v, so that's 1 minus 1.056 to the minus 1. And if we do the calculation, we come out with 14.028.